Before this video starts, I wanted to inform every single last viewer of this video that I have started a GoFundMe for the Inoue Fulton fight. I'm trying to go to Japan and raise some money and get you guys great content out there in Japan. And I'm going to try to be out there for at least a month. And I'm going to need you guys' help to get you guys that great content and make this thing happen. So if you're interested in helping me with that, the GoFundMe link will be down below in the description and in the pinned comments. So help me out and help me help you help True School Sports get to the land of the rising sun for Inoue Fulton. It is the road to Japan. So yeah, help me out with that and enjoy the video.
It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, interesting stuff in the heavyweight division. This was reported about a week ago. I'm just getting into it now, but man, like, wow. Wow. Anthony Joshua, he'll be fighting on April Fool's Day, and this is not an April Fool's joke. This is not a drill, people. This is not a drill, ladies and gentlemen. Anthony Joshua has confirmed his next opponent. His next opponent has been, in fact, signed, sealed, and delivered, and his next opponent may disappoint quite a few people out there. His next opponent is Jermaine Franklin. Yes, that Jermaine Franklin. Anthony Joshua will be fighting Jermaine Franklin on April Fool's Day at the O2 Arena. And it's been a long time since Anthony Joshua wasn't fighting in the stadium. So now he's been downgraded from a stadium fighter to a O2 Arena fighter. And he's taking on Jermaine Franklin. Now, Jermaine Franklin, respect to the man. I hope he goes out there and fights his heart out. This is no slight on him. I respect him as a fighter. I think he did more than enough to win the Dillian White fight. I think Jermaine Franklin stock has risen since the Dillian White fight, and Jermaine Franklin might go out. He might mess around and beat up Anthony Joshua, and he might become a new player in the heavyweight division. But I gotta call Eddie Hearn out, and I gotta call a spade out for what it is. I understand that Anthony Joshua is coming off of 2 back-to-back losses to a guy that you could definitely say is the pound-for-pound best fighter in boxing right now, in Alexander Usyk. So does he deserve a tune-up fight against an opponent that the public would deem as less than Usyk? Yes. But is Jermaine Franklin someone that I think we should get excited about? No. So what this really tells me is that Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua, Anthony Joshua's mental state is not where it needs to be, and there is a lack of confidence permeating through that camp. Now, there's been all of reports saying that he's going to be, I guess he's working with Derek James, so it'll be his first fight with the new coach. Now, the reason why I'm going to criticize Anthony Joshua in this video and Eddie Hearn for picking Jermaine Franklin is because I definitely know that Jermaine Franklin was not their best option. He was not the best option. Oh, no. They could have made a much better fight and a much more interesting fight at that against none other than, the guy that nobody wants to fight. I don't care what you think about him. Nobody wants to fight him. And it's the facts. It's just facts. Filip Hrgovic, the Croatian sensation, the most ducked and avoided fighter in boxing, bar none. This was a fight between Anthony Joshua and Hrgovic that could have been made right away. He he trains right down the street from where I live at Mundo Boxing Gym. So I'm going to go down there soon and get his comments on this whole situation. But, like, he's been under a lot of scrutiny since the controversial win over Zhang Zhilei. His stock has shot down exponentially. People don't think Hrgovic can beat many guys in the heavyweight division. So this would have been a perfect time to make this fight. Why? For 2 reasons. Because, number one, they both fought on the same card. Hrgovic had that lackluster performance on the Joshua Usyk rematch undercard. So their timelines match up. That's number one. Number two, you have Hrgovic coming off of a controversial win, and you have AJ coming off of 2 decisive losses. This would have been the perfect crossroads matchup, because if Anthony Joshua can beat Filip Hrgovic, then that would still show that, hey, like, he maybe can't beat the Usyks of the world, and he probably can't beat the Furies, but he can still beat the rest of the heavyweights, because Hrgovic is one of the best heavyweights that's not a champion. I would say, like, Joe Joyce is the best heavyweight who's not a champion. Then you probably say, like, Wilder, just based on what he's done in the past, would probably be the second best. And then, Hrgovic probably third. I personally think he's the second best. I think he's better than Wilder, but out of respect for Wilder and his accomplishments and what he's done, I put Wilder over Hrgovic too. So he's definitely like the third best heavyweight who doesn't have a title right now. And by beating him, it would establish that you're still at a certain level of heavyweight boxing, as to where beating a Jermaine Franklin doesn't really show us anything. It doesn't really show... We don't learn anything about Anthony Joshua in that fight or the landscape of the division. So really, he has everything to lose, nothing to gain, and Franklin has everything to gain and nothing to lose because he's already lost, and people don't really think of him as like a top-grade heavyweight anyway, even though he had a good fight against Dillian White, right? So that's the Anthony Joshua side of things. From the Hrgovic side of things, this would have given him a great step up in class because Anthony Joshua is a better fighter than Zhang Zhilei. He's accomplished more in boxing than Zhang Zhilei, right? So people want to know, like, did Hrgovic just have a bad night against Zhang because of the fact that, you know, he had his father die a couple months before the fight? He had a new trainer. There was a lot of factors going into that fight. And then on top of that, Zhang fought the best fight of his life. So there were a lot of factors that played into that lackluster performance that night from Hrgovic. And people want to know, was it truly a lackluster performance? Or is that really who he is? Is Filip Hrgovic just nothing more than a solid top 10, top 50 heavyweight? This kind of a fight would have given us that answer for Filip Hrgovic, and it would have really cleared some things up about his career and who he is in the division. But now, Hrgovic gets fucked again by boxing politics. Anthony Joshua picks the safer opponent with Jermaine Franklin. Andy Ruiz, who was ordered to fight him by the IBF for the interim title, is going to try to fight Deontay Wilder instead. And so Hrgovic is just getting screwed left and right. And it's getting to a point with his career. And I want to really stop calling out the fighters. I'm going to call out his promoter, Cal Soderlund. Cal Soderlund, Hrgovic's promoter, he's going to have to do what, like, what they used to have to do for Golovkin back in the day. They're going to have to overpay opponents to get in the ring. So, for example, if they wanted to fight someone like Andy Ruiz or Joseph Parker, guys who have been champion, who have names, who have market value in this division, who would give Hrgovic more credibility amongst the public if he beat them. If a fight with those guys, let's just say, I'm just throwing a number out there, but let's say if a fight with those guys is worth $700,000, right? They will need to pay those guys $1 million or $1.1 million for a $700,000 fight to get them in the ring with Hrgovic. You'd have to pay them $300,000 to $400,000 above market value to get these guys in the ring. That's what I truly believe. If Soderlund doesn't get to that point where Hrgovic, where they do that for the guy they say they believe in, and they have to lose some money early on. That's just the truth. They're gonna have to lose some money on the front end to make that money on the back end if he wins the belt. But they have to bet on the talent they say he has. So that's where I'm at. Either you overpay the opponents for Hrgovic to prove what he can do against top grade competition, or you waste Hrgovic's prime and we never know ultimately how good he is. That's really where we're at. But yeah, disappointed in the opponent selection from Anthony Joshua. It tells me that they are really, really worried about him fighting anybody credible. So they picked a guy that is credible, and Franklin, his credibility is there. It's gone up since the fight, but he is definitely the weakest option that they had available to him when we compare him to like guys like Hrgovic and things like that. So yeah, that's the news. April 1st, April Fool's Day, Anthony Joshua will be fighting Jermaine Franklin. So make of that what you will. Let me know what you guys think. Are you happy with the matchup, or do you think maybe Anthony Joshua should have fought a guy like Hrgovic? Or maybe even a Zhang Zhilei, because a lot of people thought Zhang won, and he's still, what they're saying, the Joyce fight isn't happening now, and apparently he's still free. So he could have won Hrgovic, he could have won Joyce, but he chose Jermaine Franklin. So leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this video, click right here and make sure you subscribe. Much love from sunny South Florida.